years ago, there was a vast forest with numerous animals. When spring arrived, tree branches would be adorned with leaves, and many animals would gather in the forest. Animals built nests in suitable spots, gave birth to their young, and nurtured them throughout the summer. The forest was filled with the joyous sounds of baby animals, fluttering butterflies, and lively singing birds during the summer. Each summer passed this way, and when autumn arrived, the leaves of all the trees would turn yellow and gracefully fall. Butterflies and insects disappeared, and larger animals retreated to the warm nests deep in the forest, some even entering a state of hibernation. Birds, in particular, would migrate to warmer places every autumn to endure the winter. Once again, autumn had come, cool winds were blowing, and tree leaves were turning yellow and falling. Flocks of birds had begun their journey to the places where they would spend the winter. A little bird was born in this forest and had just learned to fly. Today, with its family, they were set to join a flock in a large thicket next to the forest, preparing to migrate together. The little bird was excited. It had never ventured beyond the forest and had never flown far. The leaves had fallen from the trees, exposing the branches. When the leaves fell, the nest of the little bird remained exposed on the branch, with no leaves. The nest, which was once protected, now offered no shelter for the birds. Until the trees in the forest sprouted new leaves in spring, they needed to find another place. The little bird and its family began flying towards the thicket where they would join the flock. Just then, a strong wind blew, tossing the little bird into the branches of a tree. The impact knocked the bird unconscious, and as it fell to the ground, leaves carried by the wind covered it. Its family, turning back to search for the little bird, couldn't find it beneath the fallen leaves. Sadly, they left the forest to join the flock. When the little bird regained consciousness, it pushed aside the leaves and stood up. It felt pain in its wing. The impact had injured its wing. Unsure of how long it had been unconscious, where its family was, and what to do, the little bird began searching for its family. Looking around and calling out, it couldn't find them. Unable to fly and unable to find its family, it seemed the little bird would have to spend the winter alone in this forest. The little bird decided to seek help from the trees. It first went to the oak tree and asked for a place to spend the winter. The oak tree refused, saying, "My leaves will fall in winter, and I can't deal with you." The little bird then asked the plane tree, which also declined. It went on to ask each of the other trees, but none accepted it. Helpless and not knowing what to do, the little bird began crying. At that moment, the pine tree standing nearby asked why it was crying. The bird explained what had happened, and the pine tree said, "Don't be sad, little bird. You can settle into my hollow, and we'll spend the winter together." The bird, overjoyed, thanked the pine tree and entered the hollow. With a sense of relief at finding a place to rest and spend the winter, the little bird fell asleep in the pine tree's hollow, having witnessed the kindness of the pine tree toward the little bird. The forest fairy decided to reward the pine tree and announced her decision. From that day on, the leaves of the pine tree would not fall during winter, and no animal would be allowed to eat the pine tree leaves. Following the forest fairy's command, new leaves immediately sprouted on the pine tree instead of the ones that fell in autumn. Since that day, pine trees have never been without leaves. Thanks to the kindness shown to the little bird, even today, pine trees spend their winters without feeling the cold.